So in this lesson, we are learning how to gather input from the user from various controls that we're going to put onto our Windows Phone app UI. We're going to learn how to make decisions with the information that we receive. And then we're also going to look at how to display that information to the user through other controls and using some of the features of Windows Phone applications. So just like in our previous video, I went ahead and started a new blank C# Windows Phone application. And when you load up that and the Visual Studio gets done creating that application, it drops us right here in the app.xaml file. And so we come over to our Solution Explorer, we find our main page.xaml, we double click that, and then that's what loads up our designer. And remember, you can move these windows around if there's not enough space and you feel like you can't see everything. So we're going to begin by designing our UI and setting up all of the different controls that we're going to use to gather the user input, and then we'll look at how to make decisions with that data. So I'm going to start by gathering a text block, and I'm going to put that text block kind of right up here at the top of the screen, and this is going to be our little title. So I'm going to call this Gathering Input. Remember, you can come down into the text section of your properties window, and let's make that 24 pixels, so nice and large. Then we're going to get another text block, and this is going to ask, what is your name? And I'm going to make that a little bigger as well. So in order to gather the user's name, we're going to use a text box. And so we grab a text box, and we'll kind of line that up under here, make it a little bigger so they have lots of room. If you don't want it to just defaultly say text box in it, you can come over here and take the text out. Let's give this a name. Up here at the top of the properties window, we're going to name it user name. And that's so that we can reference it in the code and get what the user typed in that text box out, because we want to be able to do stuff with that information. So we're going to grab another text block, place it on here. This one is going to ask, what is your date of birth? All right, make that a little bigger as well. 11 pixels is just not big enough. So in order to get the user's date of birth, there's a couple of different controls we can use, but the easiest one is our date picker control. So if we come over here and grab the date picker control, right, it goes ahead and shows today's date, and you can make this a little bigger so it's a little easier to see. We're going to come up here and give it a name. Let's call it date picker. And there's some options over here that you can choose. What kind of calendar style do you want? The Gregorian calendar is the one that we want. You can choose like a max and min year. You can come in here and play with some of the text options. All right, and then the last thing we're going to need is a button. I just did something weird there. There we go. All right, and this is going to be our submit button. And I'm just going to put it down here near the bottom. So we're just going to name it submit button. And we can change the content to the word submit. So that's our UI. And so at this point, make sure it builds, right? And you haven't done anything weird and the build actually succeeds. You can go ahead and run it in your emulator and check that it looks the way that you want it to look. Let's go ahead and do that now so you can see. Okay, so here I am in the emulator. We can see our little heading. What's my name? I can type in there. And when I click that, I get the on-screen keyboard as well. And then our date picker control, when you click this, then it gives you the ability to then choose one of these, and we can scroll back through these dates. And so we can, scroll back and find your birth date or whenever it is. And then when you've got the correct date, click that and it will update the date of birth. And then we've got the submit button. So in our next section, what we're going to do is look at the code necessary that when the user clicks the submit button, we'll gather this name, we'll gather this date of birth, and we'll write the method needed to calculate how old the user is. And then we're going to display that information back to the user.